last you guys saw, it was literally just the machine sitting here, had just been delivered. So over the last, it must be a month now, maybe more, we've been getting ready for this, this setup. I had to send off all of the information on Tuesday of this week so that they could lock in the date, voltage readings, pictures of it installed, making sure that we had air, dust collection, power, all that stuff. So we're ready to go. We're ready for Monday. See, we have a new dust collector. So this is a 15 horsepower Koima. Koima is made in Italy. Big 4-bag unit. So this is our one and only dust collector now. You know, it's like 12 feet tall, it's about 14 feet long, and I think about 5 feet deep. So very large. Dylan and I went and picked it up in Clifton, New Jersey. So about an hour and 15 minutes north of here, and we had to uninstall it, get it into a U-Haul, and get it up here, which was an adventure in and of itself. And then getting it set up in here was probably 2 times the adventure. You can see we're only a couple inches from the ceiling, and the way that this sort of works is to install or uninstall, you remove these vertical legs, and this whole top portion collapses down because these filters are obviously, you know, loose. That whole top part will just lower down with a forklift through those rectangles. And so it was easy to take it down that way at the old location, but here we're too close to the ceiling, so we can't get the forks up that high. So we had to go old school with some ropes. We put some screw eyes into the ceiling, 4 of them, and we actually tied ropes to the forklift, and I backed the forklift up, and we pulled it up to the ceiling. It took us 2 whole days to get this thing set up, and you know, it didn't go without a fight. We couldn't get it close enough to the ceiling. We're using bottle jacks and blocks of wood, and it was definitely a battle. We were very happy when it was done. But you see it has a huge impeller. I don't even know what the diameter is on this. It's probably 40 inches, 40-inch impeller. It has an 18-inch inlet, but they need to neck these down. You guys might not know this, but there's a limit to how many CFM you can have on an indoor dust collector. So the limit is 5,000 CFM, which is for fire, fire prevention reasons. You know, there's a lot of risk involved with high CFM and a spark and turning into a fire. So it's limited to 5,000 CFM. So this is neck down from 18 to 14, and that gets us to 5,000 CFM. An outdoor unit could be, you know, I was actually speaking to Koima at AWFS. They're getting ready to install a 40,000 CFM dust collector at a shop in New Jersey. So huge outdoor unit, probably, you know, 60, 100 feet tall. So we have 5,000 here. Like I said, 15 horsepower motor. To add insult to injury, the machine was wired. It's a multi-tap motor, so it uses a range of voltages, but the control box was wired for 440, so I did have to replace that, and that was to the tune of $2,300. People are always interested with prices, so I paid $7,000 for the dust collector, which is pretty good price. It's I think it's a 2022, and it is a 2022, so only a couple years old, and it was used in a print shop who got into doing signs, a big print shop up in North Jersey, who did a little bit of sign work, so they had this hooked up to a CNC, and I guess they got out of it, so they were liquidating all of this stuff in that little sign shop. So scored it for less than half of what retail would be. You know, say we're in at 10,000 with the U-Haul and the new control box. If you need a 440 control box for a Koima dust collector, shoot me an email. I have one. So a lot of dust collector for the money. You know, cost a lot, but we need it, and it's picking up the whole shop now. So we piped all of this in, got the ductwork from Blastgate Company out in Michigan, Minnesota, somewhere up there. So this is all spiral pipe. I thought about doing clamp together, but probably would have been twice the price. You know, I'm in about 4,000 on ductwork. You know, the CNC, as I mentioned in the last video, I got it for, you know, about 12,000 bucks, which is a good deal, but there's been a ton of expense involved with getting it set up. Had to have the electric run. You know, you're looking at about $6,000 there. Ductwork, we ran the ductwork, so it took Dylan and I 2 full days to run all the ductwork. So we have 14 inches coming out. We Y off here to pick up the CNC, and we came down, we turned the corner, and we tied back into existing ductwork here. So this Grizzly dust collector originally came up, and it tied in right here into this 10-inch. So we just removed that, and then we came around with 12, reduced down to 10, and tied in there. So that picks up the shaper, the edge sander, the edge bander, and the Strebig. And then, you know, so at our Y, we came down with flex to the CNC. We have this orbital on the top. Maybe I could jump up here and show you, because you may not have seen this. So this is a swivel. So this allows, you know, the gantry to move around, and you don't get all kinds of kinks in your hose. We have very low ceilings here. The ceiling here is probably only 128 inches maybe, so just over 10 feet. So it doesn't give us a lot of room to work with. So this is likely going to be a little bit of an issue, but we'll have to sort of figure it out as we go. We can't move the CNC yet because it's not hooked up. So I have a bungee cord that you know, we can move to try and, you know, get it into a good position, but we'll see what happens. You know, blast gate here, 8-inch blast gate. Then we took the dust collection down this way. We branched off to pick up our table saw, and then we continued down to another Y, which we just capped off in case we want to, you know, continue this run down into the shop. It's a 10-inch there, branched off with 7-inch, came down to the chimney there, and we have a 6-inch for the joiner and a 4-inch for the planer. So it is really nice to have one dust collector, and it's super powerful. So, oh, actually one other thing. Right here, we'll be tying in a vacuum hose reel. So I think it's coming tomorrow. I ordered it from Centec, who make all kinds of really nice vacuum stuff. So we'll come down with 4, we'll go to 2.5, and then we'll have an industrial steel vacuum hose reel with 50 feet of hose. So what we can do is, when we're running the CNC, when we take the parts off, we can actually vacuum off this entire bed. So typically you would either vacuum or blow off this bed. You know, you don't want to blow it off because you're going to throw a lot of dust in the air. So we'll have a wand, and we can just vacuum this whole thing off. And it's 50 feet, so we could reach, you know, a decent amount of the shop with that. The shop's 70 by 70, so we'll be able to use that to clean off the floor, vacuum off the tops of machines. And the dust collection right here it's insanely strong. So it's going to be like the world's most powerful shop vac. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about any of the projects that we're working on here, or you have an idea for a video, be sure to let us know, and we'll talk to you next week.